is interesting. Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Man, I don't know why, but I have like a hard time putting my finger on Santiago Ponzinibbio. Like whenever, I don't know, like when I try to do these breakdowns and stuff, I just have his fight style, man. I don't know. I don't know. I have a hard time picking his fights for some reason and just deciding who I think might have an advantage. But in this one against Kevin Holland, the way that they've both looked recently, I think I'm leaning towards Kevin Holland, man. I think Kevin's going to be able to snipe him from places that Santiago's not going to be able to get to. I think Santiago might start lunging a little bit with the shots to try to get to Kevin, and Kevin's going to capitalize. The one thing to always watch out for is Holland's wrestling defense is not exactly there. And Santiago tends to keep it on the feet, but it's not like he can't wrestle. So if Holland's not prepared for that or not expecting that in some of these situations, that could be a problem for him. I could see Santiago trying to push this up against the cage a little bit. I don't know. I think standing in space with Holland is going to be a problem for Santiago. I think there's going to be a speed disadvantage, and I think that he's going to walk into a lot of things that Holland's throwing, bite on a lot of feints. Yeah, man. I think it's a tough fight for Santiago all around, and I don't exactly like the fact that he's been getting rocked a lot lately. Like, yeah, he won his fight against Alex Morono, but he got hurt in that. You know, Li Jingliang knocked him out pretty bad. He's been battered around a little bit, man, and Kevin Holland can fucking crack, and he can hit you from places that you can't necessarily hit him, and I think there's going to be a lot of that going on. And like I said, Santiago's preferred method is the stand-up, and I think it's going to stay there. And for whatever reason, gut feeling, whatever, like I said, I have a hard time, for whatever reason, when I watch Santiago coming up with, like, how guys are going to deal with him stylistically. I think he's kind of a hard guy to prepare for, but I think that Holland is a guy who's going to be able to come in there and his like striking and, like I said, is kind of like running his mouth is a little bit of an unorthodox style. I think he's going to be able to find his angles and get to Santiago where Santiago can't get to him. And then I think Santiago might start getting might start overextending a little bit, and Holland can capitalize on those. But I think Santiago is going to be doing a lot of like trying to pressure Holland. So it's going to be on Holland to make sure that he's like using his length and touching Santiago and circling back to the center of the cage too. Like I said, otherwise we might end up, I don't know, maybe Santiago pushes this up against the cage to kind of wear Kevin Holland out a little bit and negate a little bit of that reach. So we'll see. I could see this fight going a few different ways, but I think most likely scenario is Kevin Holland. And Kevin Holland, those elbows when they're in the clinch and stuff, man, you got to watch out for that. I think Kevin Holland gets it done. Next fight.